This is Hacking the Afterlife podcast with Jennifer Schaefer.
Here we go. Rock and roll. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Welcome back to class.
Yes, I've been looking forward to our class
So I
today.
invited some people to class today,
Okay.
and
So the first person that popped in my head was John Lennon, but I don't think that's who you asked.
yes, I did, because a friend of his
Okay.
is here. He wants to talk to us. I think. We
You
want to
think?
talk to him.
So you really asked for John Lennon to be here.
Well, I said to this person who I asked to show up today,
Okay.
I said, look around the class.
Okay.
Take a look who's here.
I'm the biggest skeptic of this work, so I was like, what? You did
And
not
this
ask.
guy that we want to speak to knows John's son that I know. And
Okay.
so that's so it's
Like somebody that was a love of some sort. I don't know.
a love. Well, I'll give you a hint. It's a male.
No, I know, but it felt like somebody. So when you said that, though, somebody that loved Julian, somebody that was.
Oh,
very,
probably not romantically, but
Not
maybe
romantic.
romantically. It's possible. We don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not gonna judge it.
I don't know that much about this person. I've never met this person. The only way he can show up here today is through people in our class who we knew a few. And so I invited
Did
him.
anything have to do with Rod Stewart? Rod Stewart's still on the planet, right?
Rod Stewart something.
Okay, is it connected?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. He was a fan of music.
Okay,
What do you hear him singing?
some guys have all the luck.
That's okay. That's appropriate for him.
Some guys do nothing but to
So who would be a guy that was really lucky? No longer on the planet.
really lucky. No, well, there's a couple of them trying to fight forward, but
Go ahead. Whoever we can. I know.
well, Anthony Bourdain showed up.
Very good. I talked to Anthony too. I asked him
Okay.
because this
And
is
then,
somebody that this guy would know, and he would help us. Are we going to have Jennifer guess, or should I
Is
tell
he a
her?
piano player?
I think he played a guitar. I don't know. He might have played piano, but I'm almost
Do
positive.
you love classical music though too?
I don't know. He was not famous for being a musician, but he
No, I
loved.
felt like he managed it.
He loved musicians.
Okay. Is his name
Whoever-
Rod?
No, just whoever pops into your mind. Because I said to him, we invited you to speak to us, okay? At first he was like, what? And then it was like,
Talking about Steve Jobs?
very good. He's close friends with Steve. I asked Steve to show up. So that's good, okay? And I asked Steve to show up and
Okay.
introduce this guy to our class, okay? I asked Anthony because he would know Anthony. I asked John because he knew his son. And I asked Steve Jobs because they're on the same level.
I get it, but I don't know who he is. He's like that Microsoft guy,
Bingo.
correct?
Correct.
He showed me, but I didn't get it. And so when I don't get things...
It's all right, you don't know his name. I'm going to tell you his name. First name is Paul.
Paul. I know who you're talking
You know what I'm
about.
talking about, okay? Let me just tell you, it's okay.
He owned a football team, right?
He what?
A basketball team or football team?
Very good. He
Okay.
did. He owned both.
Both.
His last name is Allen. Paul
Allen.
Allen. So what do you get when I say his name?
PA.
PA. You get a sense of him? Is he here in our class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a couple hours to round him up, but I just think it's funny. I just don't know.
Very good. A couple hours I'd go. I
See how long
asked
that
him.
took me? I have no idea.
It didn't.
I don't know anything.
Sweetheart,
Okay.
in terms of the fucking flip side, it took you no time. It took you a blink to get it. You named 3 people that I invited to help us figure out who this was.
Okay.
They were all right on the motherfucking number. Okay? Can I just say, it's ridiculous. Because I said, look, jobs. You know this guy. Now, let's ask Steve. Is he ready to talk to us? Is Paul ready to talk to us?
He's kind of going like this, but
He's a little dubious. That's all right, buddy.
he's not very. He's an inwardly outspoken person.
Okay,
from what I'm getting.
he's a shy person. Very good.
Not shy. He likes to understand the mechanics of how things work, so I feel like he's watching,
Very good. And so,
like you would a game, I guess.
so dude, this is your spotlight. All right? Even though you're watching, could somebody push his chair forward, Luana?
Luana's going to talk for him.
Yes, I was just going to say that, Paul. Luana will speak for you. Okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions, and we're going to get into it.
Okay.
Because what the fuck? Why not?
Why not?
So who was there to greet you when you crossed over?
I just got a big football player.
Really? Interesting.
I don't know. Let me just go with it.
Just go with it. White or black?
Black, African American.
African American. Somebody we might know?
Kind of like Polynesian. Maybe I've seen black, but it might be Polynesian. It's just a big guy and they receive the hair. I wouldn't know, but give me some more information you wanted. She's like, I'm dreading getting it out of him.
And so, but that's Luana saying it's like pulling teeth?
At that point, but I'm asking him, like, I need a fucking algorithm for my app. Can you figure that out over there on the other side?
He can.
Please?
He can. But we'll get to that. Let's one thing at a time. So the first person to greet you on the flip side
Thank you.
was a football player. All right? Was he somebody who played for the Seattle Seahawks?
Is it Seahawks? Okay.
Yeah.
It was the colors. I just didn't know.
Okay. Somebody who played for them and died, or is alive.
Thank you. I feel that he didn't play for him, but he tried to help him. He wanted him to play, but he died before he could play for him.
Paul wanted to help him.
Yes. But he passed away
Before he could help him. Did he want to help him with his illness? Did he have a brain problem?
That's what it feels like,
Okay,
but I don't know
very
if it's
good.
concussions. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, that would be what it was. So, Paul, you created an institute on brain. Paul, you created an institute, brain science, to help brains. You gave $100 million to help brain science. Okay.
That's so fascinating.
So this is why this person
That's why
came
it's so
forward.
great, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it
That's
felt
all right,
like I had
that's
to
why
do
I'm
with brains.
here.
He helped him with his brain.
So, Paul, now that you're on the flip
He was
side,
the start of it. It feels like.
Speak up.
It was he. This guy was the start of it.
oh, very good. Okay,
Like he was the one that.
that inspired him
He
to.
was so heartbroken over it.
Okay, was it
Here he
a?
owns a sports team, and he feels like they're hurting. Like
Yeah.
He,
I understand. They're hurting the
he's trying to
athletes.
create helmets that were even stronger.
Very good. Okay, and so, but this is also, I think, you created the Brain Science Institute. People said it was because of your mom,
Okay.
and your mom. Is your mom still on the planet, Paul, or is she off the planet?
Feels like she's still here.
Okay, and your dad?
I think his dad's up there.
Okay, very good.
Hold on a second. He keeps showing me this football player, so give me a second.
Very good. No, it's fine. Let's talk to him. He's fine now, isn't he?
Yes.
Very good.
He said that he was in charge of getting it how it wasn't Paul Allen, right?
Yeah.
He's saving so many people. Like, so if it wasn't for him, I felt like because he showed me the energy that gets dispersed. Like, he wouldn't have done all the things that he did. I think he would have because of his mom, but he also the huge part of it.
Was this football player? Yes, I understand. Well, there was a Chicago Bear named Dave Duerson who killed himself, shot himself because of his brain. Dave Duerson.
Yeah, I have the chills. That's it. He says you're the first person to meet him.
Today.
And he's saying thank you. So he never played for him, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But Dave played for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's saying that it wasn't Dave's fault. And he knew that there was no. I don't know. So he keeps going back to that.
Let's talk about brain science a little bit, okay? I appreciate this, and it's great. It's great. I understand. And your institute has been studying this phenomenon. What Jennifer and I are doing, and Luana can explain it to you.
He knows it. He got the download real fast.
Okay. Which is we're trying.
He still doesn't understand it completely.
Okay.
He understood it before. Wait, hold on. Well, did you know you were going to die? He goes, yeah. I'm like, wait.
Say that again?
I'm asking him, did you know you were going to die? He goes, I knew I was going to die. I'm like, hold on. I'm saying, did you know then? He had this, thank you, he had this sense of urgency. He didn't know he was going to die, but he had this sense of urgency to do so much, so fast, so quickly.
So, in terms of...
He wanted to protect people.
In terms of your journey and your path, when you chose this lifetime, so you chose to check out around this time? Or, I mean, you got this cancer earlier, and then it went away, and then it came back.
Thank you. He beat it the first time. He wasn't done yet with his work.
Correct.
And it's not that he's done now, but it had a lot of foundation and legs to keep going when he was gone.
What would you like to say to your sister?
What would you like to say to your sister? He just showed me a big heart.
Okay. Jennifer, are you aware of who his sister is at all? No connection. All right.
No, zero.
So let's
I just got read, so I don't know, and I don't know. I read a lot this today.
So, Paul, if I was to contact your sister who's still on the planet and give her a specific message from you...
Is it Tracy?
No. If I gave her a specific message from you, what would that be that would, beyond a shadow of a doubt, make her realize that you're still in existence? I know that's a tall order, but Luana can help. Oh.
Tell her that she hears his voice. And there's something with the number 5 and then 2. So it could be 52, it could be May 2nd. There's something with her hearing. There's something that she just keeps.
Okay.
You know.
Maybe something wrong with her hearing, or she hears like a noise and she doesn't know what it is, but it's you.
She doesn't think she can hear me. She doesn't. I don't know if she necessarily believes in this.
Okay, she won't. I'm sure she won't. These are all scientists. This is the whole thing that you and I are up against. So we have the guy who could most help us on the planet standing in front of us right now. The guy who could most help us.
This is a lot of pressure. Thank God I don't know anything.
Well, so you don't have to. I understand it. But Paul, that's the question.
How sweet was that
Can you step up for us? Oh, Dave Durson, I'd be happy to. I'll pass that message along.
No, I'm saying that to him. Like, that was so sweet that he came forward to say that the football player was just like, yeah, because of what happened, it had to, like, there was who knows with the connection or whatever, but
Paul, did you know Dave Durson, or you were just aware of him? Or was there another athlete?
He knew him.
He knew him. And was there another athlete, did you know, that had suffered from this brain trauma from football?
Many.
Yeah, all of them.
Many.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Paul, what's your regret? What do you regret, buddy? We're going to give you all the normal questions.
What do you regret? Time. Okay, hold on. What time? I regret not loving more.
Okay, very good. What are you surprised? Oh, sorry.
He regrets not being taught, if there was a way to be taught, how to love unconditionally. He tried to do it in so many different ways. I feel like he says he hurt the ones he loved the most.
Did you fall in love with anybody while you were here? Did you have that relationship with somebody? Male or female? You don't have to answer if you don't want us to know.
He's laughing. I'm like, I'm not sure how to take that. He goes, it was not female.
It was what?
It was not female.
Okay, very good. That's fine, Paul. I tried to tell you on the way over here, we're not about outing anybody. I just want you to know our whole journey is to sort of speak truth.
Everyone that knew him knew.
Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to speak truth. So now you had a boat. You had a couple of big boats.
There's something specific or significant about the name.
Of the boat?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say it, but let's see if you can put it in Jennifer's mind. You had two big ones. Let's talk about the one that had music involved in it.
Okay. I almost felt like it was a Lollapalooza kind of boat, but that's just...
It was.
But I'm trying to understand it. So you showed me Jane's Addiction, and I know the guy that started, Lollapalooza, but I can't figure out the name.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Like Inception,
but the name of the boat was a sea creature.
It was a sea creature.
And a James Bond movie.
Well, I saw the jellyfish, but I'm not seeing.
Jellyfish is close.
I don't know what it is. It's okay. He showed me the octopus.
Very good. That's the name of his book.
He showed me the octopus, but I didn't believe it.
Okay, very good.
Isn't that funny?
Very good. I think you had two big ass boats.
I cannot believe I didn't say octopus.
That's all right. It's okay. You did say octopus. I didn't say it. I did not say it.
I know you didn't say it, but he showed it. I'm such a skeptic that if they show me that, they have to go to something else with tentacles, and they have to go to something.
He's learning, so assume that he's in kindergarten. He's only given us what he sees.
They're all laughing about the kindergarten aspect.
Okay. So now you've met people in our class. Can you look around our class and you see all the musicians that are here? You were a huge fan of music. So who is the person you most want to talk to in our class? Or play with?
Prince, very
good. Okay, John, did you hear that? Prince just stepped in front of you, bro. I'm sorry.
Well, I was looking for John, but I got Prince. That's
okay,
the funny part of it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, and Jimi, don't forget.
Well, Jimi Hendrix showed up before. So Jimmy, John, all the guitar players, but I didn't know if it was because you said guitar, you play guitar, and so these people started
Just go with your instincts on this one. This guy,
I don't know why
here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. This is a newbie. So he's only going to give you what the first thought is. He won't give you the second or third. LaJuan will give you
kind of like holding your wad. I get it.
Yeah. So Jimmy's the first person we want to talk to.
I just said that.
So Jimi, what's your opinion of Paul? Anything you want to say to Paul, or what have you guys talked about so far?
That he had it and he didn't trust it either.
Music.
Yeah.
He had it. Okay. And Paul did something that's related to you and your family. I don't think Jennifer's aware of it. But Paul, who was from Seattle, and was also like Jimi was from Seattle.
Right. A huge foundation.
A huge foundation, correct.
He just showed me an enormous foundation.
Very good, correct.
That's amazing.
And a place, a museum.
Well, that's what it looked like. He showed me this huge foundation, but it was in front of art, different artwork and stuff.
I've been there. It's I think it's the Jimi Hendrix Museum. It was. Now it's called Mopop or something. Music.
Every time I talk to you, I know so much less.
Anyway, but here's the thing. Paul.
You showed me the Ohio thing, the Music Hall of Fame, or whatever it was.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, you saw it. Okay, great. So it's just like that. Okay, instead of having the Cleveland Hall of Fame,
right?
He's got the West Coast Hall of Fame.
That's awesome. Way better.
And inside are all of Jimi's jackets and all that stuff, and his guitars,
the picks,
and all the Seattle boys. So it's Nirvana.
I love that.
Have you met Nirvana, dude? Have you seen?
I have never met him.
No, Paul. Have you run into Nirvana, dude? You know what's his name?
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's worried about Courtney.
Who isn't?
Yeah, exactly.
I've met her. She's a bit of an odd duck, but anyway.
He's getting ready for his another return. Part of him.
Oh, very good. Okay. Well, Paul, let's stick with you for a while, bro. In terms of musicians, Prince, have you played with Prince?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So what I was seeing is if it's happening now, so let's just say that he's planning for his other return. But what if it's already going on? Because our time is different, right? Well, could you change the outcome outcomes from there. And then he showed me us here. Like we're changing our outcomes.
Sort of. Yes, because we're examining this stuff, and now we know that we can change the outcome. It changes the outcome.
Correct.
All right, but
I can't make it. You're going to stop me from talking about that?
Go ahead. No.
Forget it. Not going to talk.
Well, no, it's only because once we get into that world of the future, like the future lifetime stuff, right?
But is it future if it affects you now?
Well, it doesn't affect you now.
It does. Yeah, whatever's happening elsewhere.
But hold on. So we're back on the flip side.
I'm a Democrat. He's a strong Republican. Not.
No, but imagine we're on the flip side and you and I are talking about where we're going to be next. And you and I go, well, this time around we're going to do this.
You said you wanted to be me. Good luck.
Okay, whatever it is. So next time around we decide we're going to... But then we get here and the improvisation just doesn't work. You see, not all the dials are working, not all the buttons push. And so we end up
I feel like this show...
so we haven't really...
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain said that he saved Courtney by leaving.
Oh, interesting. Okay. How about Bean?
And his daughter.
How about your Bean?
Yeah.
Okay. Kurt, anything you want to tell us, bro, besides that? Who was there to greet you when you crossed?
He said he's happy to have Paul.
He's happy to have what? Paul
He's happy to have Paul there.
Okay.
Who's his dog?
Okay. It's a lot. What kind of dog?
A little dog.
Little guy?
Little guy.
Okay. So, Paul, your foundation. How do we get people in your Brain Science Foundation to pay attention to what Jennifer and I are doing so that we can help them? Speak to you. Have this ongoing conversation.
Said it will not take much. That's interesting.
It will not take much. Well, I think...
You need to write them.
Well, I think it's also an interview with him. So what would you like to tell the people at the Brain Science group in terms of opening up their research?
Yeah, you guys have a long trace.
Stop making everything science-based. Open up the reasons. Be open to reasons of... Say it one more time. Sorry, when you get it, you lose it. I know.
You know what?
Tell them to be open to... Of the way they left and why things happen.
The way they left?
And why things happen.
Who's they? The way people leave, you mean? When they die?
Yes.
And why things happen. Pay attention to that.
Pay attention to that.
Okay, very good. And can we help them with that? I mean, can we help to put them in the right direction for that?
Not right away.
Okay, very good. And Paul, I want you to look around the room. You'll see Michael Newton, Morton, our buddy Morton is here. He spent 30 years doing this kind of research, which is...
He says he's working on it.
Okay, very good. But the idea is that...
He's teaching him about energy and how to manipulate energy.
How to manipulate energy. And the reason I asked Steve to show up is because I thought Steve would help us sort of identify Paul, and also, they're two signs of their what?
They have a lot of words to say to each other, but they both have nothing but mutual love for each other.
Okay. And what would you like to say to Bill? Paul?
Who's Bill?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Don't worry about the recent update. There was something that crashed their computers, I think. I don't know.
Don't worry about the recent update. That's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny. I'm like, do you want to tell Bill that he's got this? He's like, no.
Tell him that he's got this?
Yeah, I'm like, do you want to tell Bill that he's got this? He's fine, kind of thing. And he's like, no. Tell Bill to retire so he can have fun for once.
Okay, very good. That's very specific. When you met Bill the first time in high school, when you were 15 years old?
In a garage.
In a garage?
Yeah.
I don't think they were in a garage. I think they were in high school.
Yeah.
But did you actually they were on club together.
Right, but there was a garage that they built stuff.
Yeah, where they built stuff.
That was just the thought that he did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Paul went to college for a couple of years in the 70s when my friend I can't think of his name, was working in the athletic department there, my brother's close friend.
Okay.
WSU, Washington State University. My question though is, when you met Paul, did you sense that you were going to work together? Was there a recognition of spirit?
Are you talking about, who are you talking about?
When Paul and
met.
Bill Gates met.
Right.
Were you
Yes,
guys,
absolutely.
And had you guys mapped this out?
Wait. Hold
No,
on.
I think it's
I don't think they liked each other at first because they felt everything that they were supposed to do, and they almost felt like it was
Too much.
competition.
So-
And it was too much. But once they broke that, it was, I think, almost over a girl. I'm not even sure.
Well, it's somebody. But I guess the question would be, yeah, I'm done. Oh, some more coffee? Great. I guess the question would be, when Bill stabbed you in the back.
He's still bringing that up. Yeah.
So tell me about that. How do you feel about that now? You're only a week away from being on the planet.
Yeah. He's like, I couldn't care less.
Couldn't care. Okay, very good.
I had the most toys. I won.
Well, that's a good question. So you left with is it correct? Like $20 billion you left behind. What's going to happen to that $20 billion, and do you care?
Dispersed.
So what advice would you give to people who think about that all the time?
He goes, as long as it goes to causes that he was a part of.
Yeah, but it won't, man. It'll go to heroin addiction. It does. It just goes around. It just goes. And people get so caught up in money, all they think about, when they say your name, they go, and he left behind $20 billion. And everybody goes, you mean $20 billion you can't cure yourself from cancer? Right?
Well, look at Steve.
And Steve as well. And so people they're distressed because the world views billions as the goal. So,
Hell no, no pun intended.
by the way, Anthony, if you don't mind stepping forward for a second, Lydia Lunch talked about you today. Wonderful interview with her.
He was smoking. I'm like, get that away from me. He's like, we'll have another drink.
Have another drink. A wonderful interview on CNN with Lydia Lunch, who was a rocker, was like a punk rocker here in LA back in the 70s, and she said, "I'm not stressed over his death at all. When people die, you celebrate their life and who they were and how they changed you."
Right.
It's a wonderful.
You make it into nostalgia, like you said. Like my dad said.
Nostalgia, yeah, like your dad said, like Jim said. Very good. So, Paul, look around our class. Is there anybody here you want to talk to?
Prince.
Well, Prince, do you want to talk to or play with? What do you want to ask Prince?
He wants to play.
Okay, but what do you want to ask Prince?
How he wore those high shoes.
Yeah, well, Paul, you'll hear that Prince told us that
That's the whole reason he died.
his high heels killed him.
Yeah, his high heels killed him. Exactly, that's why he's saying it's funny.
All right, so Paul, what guitar do you have? If I asked you to construct a guitar in front of you, what
He
period?
just showed me a ukulele.
Is that because that's as far as you've gotten so far? Is that why? Because it's like the simplest instrument?
Has a higher vibration than just Frank.
Okay.
Frank Brown.
All right.
No
Harder to play.
hierarchy. No hierarchy, which is a softer.
Softer, harder to play. George Harrison is here in our class, and George was a huge ukulele guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you went to his
They're playing
house,
together.
Very good. All right.
Yeah.
So, if you had one
Cool.
Beatles song that you would pick to play with George Harrison and John Lennon, what would it be?
Sunshine. Something with the sun.
Here Comes the Sun or Good Day Sunshine?
I would say
Good Day Sunshine.
And if it's moving, the only place you otherwise.
I think that's it. Good Day Sunshine. Is that right? Yeah, I know the song.
I don't.
I don't want to sing it, but. Da 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 da.
Why do I feel like people should be tap dancing to it?
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine.
I only know the other
All
one.
right, your Octopussy yacht, which I was never on, God knows why. But you had a recording studio in there. I think you put out an album with your buddies. Anything you want to tell your friends? What about Julian Lennon? What would you like to tell Julian Lennon? Because he's a pal. I think you mentioned love for him, but
Yeah, he does. There's a lot of love for him.
how about a specific sentence?
He says more than we know.
Are you saying you had a crush on him?
I don't know.
Join the club.
Like man crush, boy crush, what?
It's all right. It's a lot.
Yeah, here's
Anything you want to tell
It's
him?
interesting. Two different kinds of feathers. I remember the white feather.
Yeah.
But also there's a black feather that just got introduced.
Okay. What's the black feather represent?
Yeah, tell him to look for the darker feather.
Tell him to look for the darker feather. Okay.
It's all one. It's like the same, but
Okay, very good. All right, it's like yin yang. Is that correct?
Michael Jackson just showed me in the boat, like I'm black, I'm white. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all part of the same thing.
Right.
I don't think it was ever associated with white, because it was John who told him to look for the white feather.
Right,
But the idea is allow the black feather.
I can't think of that.
Yeah.
He just showed me a black feather with a white feather. It wasn't by itself. It was with the
Black
white
feather with a white feather.
Yeah.
Very good.
I know you're busy.
So look for balance or balance. Is balance be a better word than dark?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
right, like yin yang, balance. Okay. Does he need balance in his life?
Yes, but who doesn't?
Paul, you made a film with Randy Quaid, who's alive. He's still alive. And Randy worked with Luana, as you're now aware of.
Randy Quaid, wasn't he
He was in
Top Gun, right?
He was in Independence Day.
I won't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Randy Quaid. It was a great character actor. He's kind of gone insane. He's kind of gone nutty off his arm.
He visits them a lot.
Huh?
He visits them a lot.
Okay, I think so. But
Dennis Hopper showed up. Is he?
oh, Dennis. Okay. Well, Dennis and Luana like this. Okay. What does Dennis want to say?
About fucking time.
So what does it say? I'm sorry, it's a long line, dude. Luana's
Tell
got
Rich. Hold on. Don't be fearful about giving his family information.
Okay, I'm not afraid of the Fed. I
Okay.
don't really know him. I mean, I knew your ex-wife briefly.
Yeah, he just showed me connections, so don't be afraid of ever.
So, but don't be afraid of mentioning it like in public and letting somebody else pass it along, or
Yes.
because I know her name, and I know now from this position you don't care because you guys had a kid together. I know she sued you and all that shit before
She
you
was a
died.
bitch.
She was a bitch.
Unlike Luana.
You knew how to pick them, didn't you? Okay.
So did you.
Oh,
So did
ding.
you.
So Dennis, what's up, dude? Are you working on movies over there? What are you doing? What do you do? What's your kind of? Are you constructing over there?
The
Paint.
sounds for
Sounds.
music.
Working for some with sound. Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's why he's part of that group. That's interesting.
Well, some people, we had golfers. We had Gary Shanley golfing. We had Robert Town's father creating a freaking horse race. Bill Paxton's hanging out on the beach. So, Dennis, where do you hang out? What do you create on a daily basis, or do you?
He's recreating the sounds from Earth.
Interesting. For who?
Like sound barriers.
Are they for friends of yours or for yourself?
It's like for our podcast up there.
For your podcast up there. So what kind of sounds are you talking about? Like what? Like icebergs melting? Or you like instruments or what?
He just showed me the movie with what is his name? It was the movie with the bear.
Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You mentioned that last time. I couldn't remember it.
What?
The Revenant. You did. You mentioned it last time. Something about Leo. I don't forget what it was. It was in relation to a question.
There's something connected to you about that. I have no idea why.
Okay, about Leo DiCaprio, or about The Revenant, or about the Alfonso Cuarón, or
maybe Leonardo with this work. I don't know.
Leonardo with this work, the afterlife stuff. Okay, and is anybody?
It's green.
What's that?
You're not wasting energy.
Yeah, it's green.
What if you could figure out the energy, the
Yeah.
all of that?
Well, my question would be: is anybody in this class aware of what Jennifer's talking about, and is there anything we can do to affect that happening, or just keep doing what we're doing and they'll eventually figure out where we are?
You just have to put it out there. They'll find us.
Okay, good. So, I know what to say to Leo when I run into him. Luana was a huge fan of his from the very get-go.
From the very get-go.
And I stopped
right? Was
him.
he in a movie with River Phoenix?
Yeah, I got down. And I spoke to him about Luana.
I need to answer this.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you
Give
don't.
me 2 seconds.
All right, Paul, Alan, billionaire. Jennifer has to stop so that you
it's
can
with
answer
my kids. It's okay.
this question, Anthony. Tell him Paul. Oh, we're fine. I'm so relentless. Apologies to everybody on the flip side. But so, Paul, what else do you want to tell us today, brother? I mean, look, are you talking to anybody else up there that's back here on Earth?
His sister.
So his sister. Mm-hmm. And so, you want me to tell Jody that she can hear you, but what else do you want me to tell Jody?
To get her health.
Get her what?
Get her health checked.
With specifically?
I feel like she's afraid of doctors.
Okay. Specifically what? Because, what, cancer? Heart? Lungs?
All of it.
Wait a minute. Are you worried that she's going to have Alzheimer's? Is that what she's worried about? Because your mother had it.
Heart and cancer.
Okay. Does she have either one of those issues?
No.
Okay.
But she won't know, and she keeps thinking about it.
I understand, okay. But Paul, you understand, I can't say to your sister.
I know. I get it.
Your brother came to me and told me to tell you to get your fucking heart checked.
I know.
And then I'll be sued and shot.
Give her different information.
So different information would be your brother came through and said your health is fine.
It's kind of like with Julia Dreyfus, because that's what I just got shown. Somehow it ended up that she found out, right?
Yeah. So I know I wrote to her husband and said, look, she's okay. I just want you to know, whatever.
And she is.
She is. And so, look, but I would say it like this, Paul. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'd say your brother reached out to tell us that you're fine, but you should go to a doctor just to prove it.
A little bit more delicate.
Okay. So listen, there are email addresses of your company.
Here's the thing. So tell her not to worry about it. Like her biggest thing is she worries about it, and tell her not to worry about it. And the best way to make it to where she doesn't worry about it is just by getting it confirmed.
Okay, very good. All right, I can transcribe that. So, in terms of us working with your Brain Science Institute, me and Jennifer, there are emails. Do you want me to reach out to them and write to them? I mean, I can write a letter and say, hey,
yes.
I talked to Paul. So now give me something specific that I can say that they will realize is incontrovertible evidence.
Something specific.
Like,
hold on, stop thinking.
okay. Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
It's only because it hinders what comes in. All right.
Yeah, I know.
There are some. So I'm going to give you guys updates. You guys stop talking. Start talking. I'll watch. And I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you. So that's what it should be. I feel that you just have to say they need to be open to different realities or different possibilities.
They won't hear me.
Because he said that to them before he passed.
Okay. All right. Can you give me something a little better? Come on, dude. You know how this works. I'm just saying, if you said some sentence to them.
Okay. Let me, because I'm trying. I have to ask a ton of questions. Stop it.
Yes, dear.
Okay, show me what it is that you want. What's the group called again?
What's what?
What's the group called again?
Oh, it's like a brain science, whatever it is. He called it brain science instead of mind science, which is indicative of why it would be difficult.
I know. I get it.
Wake up, you're Well, I told you, that's how I learned because, Dave always mentioned me, he said, yeah, Melissa's had it again. He said, $4 Mike. He said, Mike was really good for a while.
He just keeps saying that he told them before he passed to expand what they were doing. So he's said this in so many different ways.
To expand what they were doing and
right.
Say, go ahead, give me a couple of ways he said it.
At the time.
Open yourself up to other possibilities.
Open up the research to different possibilities.
Okay, very good.
It can still be science-based, but dealing with consciousness, where is that? Like that kind of stuff that will lead them into that.
Let me ask you, when you passed away, who was in the room?
It almost feels like it was just his sister.
Jody. By herself or anybody else?
By herself.
Okay, very good. And the first person to greet you on the other
It almost felt like she might have left for a brief moment, and then he passed.
Okay. And is there in a specific sentence for
Yeah,
her?
it felt like she left.
She left for a minute.
It feels
What
like
did
she
she go
feels
do?
bad.
Where did she go get a sandwich? Bathroom.
Or something.
So you waited till she went to the bathroom to check out. And then you were met by Dave Dewerson or somebody like Dave Dewerson?
It was Dave.
Must have been unusual to see Dave Dewerson. Was he wearing a uniform or was he wearing like what?
I have black and because I forgot.
He was wearing a uniform to show him.
All right, very cool. And do you remember what uniform it was?
Maybe that's the 52. I don't know.
Very good. That gave me a chill. I'll look it up. There might have been a Seattle Seahawk at number 52.
Right.
There might have been this guy, Dave Duerson, who was like the ground zero for this disease. I think he was 50. I don't know what his number was.
Or maybe he was 52 when he passed, but I'm not going to give it to him.
Whatever. I'm just saying, if he was wearing a Chicago Bears outfit,
5 just keeps popping
it would have been a weird thing if he was
5
wearing
just keeps popping out.
It would have been weird if he was wearing a Chicago Bears outfit.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's wonderful. Look, it's wonderful. It's great. And so, how are you
He
occupying?
was going to show up with his head blown off.
Yeah. Well, how are you occupying
maybe
your
for
time
Halloween.
now? Very funny. How are you occupying your time now? What are you doing during the day?
He just had tons of paperwork, like just shuffling, like getting things in order.
So you're not just playing? I just thought you'd be playing.
That too at night. But yeah, he's definitely.
What kind of stuff do you play? R&B, blues, rock and roll? Everything.
He's focusing on the ukulele.
All right, it's allowed.
It's
I'm sure
so
it
weird.
must be weird to construct it, see? It's easier to construct than what Prince does. I mean, Prince can do it's unbelievable what Prince can do.
Right.
So it's easier to
And why even try?
A ukulele got 4 strings. You only have so many chords. You only get about 10 chords. It's much easier. So I'm just saying, I think the reason he's using a ukulele is because it's easier to play. I know it's delicate and it's soft.
No, I'm like, is it a better frequency? And he's like, no, it's not that. Yeah, like you said, easier to construct.
It's easier to construct, so which is fine. Because eventually, dude, you're going to be going, you'd be like,
and they're going to give us their first concert.
Right. Well, that would be a way to prove that there is a flip side, wouldn't it?
Right. Can you give us the lottery ticket?
We have Jimi Hendrix playing, and we have other people playing, and then downloading this stuff. Very cool. And listen, we need your help, Paul. So, and Luana can introduce everybody in class.
Does Paul know the guy that did the Titanic?
Jim Cameron? He probably met him. Paul was a guy who dabbled in movies, and he made like maybe 8 or 10 movies, and people ripped him off. They just kept borrowing, taking his money and making crummy movies. I know somebody who made a crummy movie for him. I can't think of her name. But it was like, no wonder he didn't want to make movies, because every time they took his money, they'd make a crappy movie, as opposed to other people. But anyway, that's all right. It's just money.
Just money, exactly. That's what I said.
But music. So, like the drummer for Jimmy Fallon, he was bereft at Paul's passing, and he wrote a tweet that said, "I'm going to miss your encyclopedic mind of music." And this guy, the drummer, is known for that. He's an encyclopedia of music. So Paul, you must have been, I think his name is Q or something, or I forget his name. So you must have been really up on that. So it was
a time period. He knew everything about time period.
So if you look around our class here, we got James Brown, we have Elvis, we have Aretha, we have Ray Charles. We have all these people that have come to our class and spoken.
He loves Aretha. And Whitney. He never knew.
We haven't talked to Whitney.
Right.
But for a future time. I heard once that healing people and actors and musicians and artists are all in the same kind of part of the tree. They still get the same frequency.
They have the same frequency in how they get things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so anybody from this tree, from presidential guys, so they want to talk to us? Does Lincoln want to come back and chat with us, or we don't have to? Oh, I was going to ask him about a favorite poem. So, let me ask, before Paul goes.
1867, what was the poem?
Mortality, it was called.
It felt like that. Okay. Because he actually showed me himself at the opera. I know he obviously...
at the Ford Theater.
Right, but I know that he had to, obviously...
That's his favorite poem. Well, Mortality, he knew it by heart. And he used to...
He knew a lot by heart.
He used to recite it. He was a big fan of... So let me ask you, Abe, have you met any of these people that you were a fan of since you've been back home?
George Washington, was that one of them?
George Washington, okay, so...
No, George Washington can't... Well, I just got shown the apple.
Okay, fine.
That is George,
could be Steve
right?
Jobs. Yeah, well, that was
That's true. Okay.
so.
I'm not, but that's what I was showing when you were going through this. I'm giving you my Rolodex of things that are
all right, but let's ask George. Abraham, do you want to bring George forward?
He's already here.
Okay, George, what do you want to tell us, bro? Who was there to greet you when you crossed over? What? Sorry, I interrupted.
He said, stop using the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Okay, thank you.
Stupidest, by the way, metaphor he's ever heard in his life.
It's apt.
That's hilarious.
Well, that's father to son. That's
right, it's father to son, and then, and like you said, Steve Jobs, the apple.
Yeah, there you go. So,
awesome.
George, who was there to greet you when you crossed over?
Oh, your teeth did hurt today. His mother. His mother.
All right.
And then his dog. He had like a dog. He had
a lot of farm animals. What a dog would be.
He also had a pig.
So have you reincarnated since?
Couldn't kill the pig.
Couldn't kill the pig. His pig, you mean?
I don't know. That could mean a lot of things. You might have to. I know. I just saw Kennedy with pigs. I don't know. There was a lot of things with that.
Well, John, I had a question for you, if you don't mind stepping forward and stepping over George Washington. I had a question for you about, you said that this Saudi thing was Trump's Bay of Pigs. What did you mean by that? Did you mean that the elements will...
Hold on, don't lead me.
Okay.
Hold on.
He said, of course, at that time he didn't know that she was going to be separate police. He said, well, he's right. But anywho, her friend, Krista, it's great.
Thank you. It was his cross to bear. Like something that was just right in his face.
I get that. But
he knew about it. And so it's his. The difference is he just lies about everything.
So, but if it's his cross to bear, do you mean personally, emotionally, or politically?
He means personally. Something was hurt. Whatever happened was very...
Well, the guy being dismembered, he may feel responsible for that. He probably hated Don't forget, his son basically gave permission for them to do that.
He does.
So he feels personally responsible for that. Okay.
That's interesting. It doesn't make me like him.
Thank you. John, anybody you want to speak to here?
That's right. You're not going to read this book. All right, go ahead.
John, anybody you want to talk to here? Anybody you want to address? Anybody want to talk to you?
My two faves up there. He just got through Jackie and... I'm his son. Hold on a second.
His two faves are who? Jackie and his son?
Well, he showed me his wife in Maryland.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Then his son came in.
Okay, so three faves.
I think his son really did love Christy Brinkley. There was something there.
His son loved Daryl Hannah, you mean?
No.
Christy Brinkley?
Remember Christy Brinkley? He showed me the first magazine. I can't remember.
Hey, John.
There was the first magazine, I think it was Christy Brinkley in a Patriots outfit.
Oh, he dressed as George Washington.
I don't fucking know, but full circle.
I think it was full circle. It is funny.
I have no memory of that.
John Jr., we have a mutual friend.
Up in Hollywood, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is
it
that?
Steve?
No,
no,
it's a girl. Somebody you dated.
Well, you just said Daryl Hannah.
Thank you. All right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Ruined it. I kind of look like it.
It's okay. No, but here's what's interesting about that.
Then you showed me Moana, so I didn't
Moana and I was going to USC.
Mm-hmm.
Moana was going to USC. We were all there together. Daryl was going to USC. And I put her in her first movie, which was my student short film, where she played a girl going to like prom. And what's funny about that is we stayed friends over the years, but she told me that she was going to marry Jackson Brown. And I said, well, do you know Jackson Brown? And she said, no, I've never met him. But I know that I'm going to marry him. And so she was with Jackson Brown for like 10 years. But then domestic violence, whatever, he beat her up.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, and then she split. Now she's with Neil Young. But it's funny. She's come up to me a couple of times. I've run into her restaurants where she comes over and stands next to me, and I look up and I'm like, Daryl, which is cute because I would love to remain friends with her, but it just didn't happen. Every time I was hanging out with her, my friends would act really strange, and so I would say, look, let's not invite Daryl to this party because everybody would like fawn over her. She wasn't famous; she was just pretty. And I actually said to this guy, so he was like, should we invite Daryl? And I thought, you always act like a jerk around Daryl. So I said, no, let's not invite her. Then he called up Daryl and said, Martini doesn't want you to come to the party. So I'm inviting you. So she was not a friend of mine for a long time, which is fine. It doesn't matter. It's not meant to be, part of her journey. But John, she dated John for a while, and it looked like they were going to get married. Anything you want to say to Daryl, John?
He just showed me, what's his name? Remember Splash?
Ron Howard?
No.
Michael Keaton?
No.
What do you mean, the actor in Splash?
The actor in Splash.
Michael Keaton, John Candy.
Oh, who was it? Who was the guy that did,
Ron Howard directed it.
Stop it. I'm going to get it before you...
And Daryl Hannah. Oh, Tom Hanks. What about Tom?
Thank you.
Sorry. Tom was in it too.
Tom got in between somehow, even though he was, I don't know.
Oh, Tom got in between. In between what? Daryl and John F. Jr.? That's funny. In between what?
Do you know she's in one of my favorite shows on Netflix called Sense8?
It's good?
It'll blow your mind.
Seen it,
it's my favorite. It was my favorite Netflix
What about
show.
Tom? Why did Tom appear? John Jr., what are you trying to tell us?
I think it's Ron Howard's dad that's showing it. But...
Rance. Okay, very good. I think about Rance all the time.
Okay, so he's showing me Splash. With his son, or with
Daryl.
whatever, Tom Hanks, and then, but that happened at the same time that we said, okay, hold on. I just told John he was actually very handsome. Sorry, I'm not cheating on
It's
you guys.
allowed.
I'm just
It's
doing,
allowed.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, we know he was. You knew my friend Matt Palmieri.
Okay, hold on. They're more like brother and sister.
Okay, very good. I got a question for Rance. Rance, thanks for showing up.
Okay.
So your son, they had a whole week of his movie. He's moved to Santa Monica, apparently, because he posts pictures of Santa Monica all the time. And then they had, at the Arrow, my local theater, was like Ron Howard Week, and they showed all of his movies. And I was thinking about Rance. Because I was thinking, like, God, I should show Limit Up, the movie that we did together. Put that movie up in that theater. Rance, do you think that's a good idea? We've heard in the class some...
Hold on. Was there a bad angle to that?
Well, Ebert gave it a thumbs way down. He's in our class, too. Yeah, right. But he also said, Siskel said I should put it out again.
You should.
So, yeah.
Yeah. He was kidding. He had to show me bad angle because I don't remember the whole Siskel thing, but he was just making fun of it.
Yeah, making fun of it, bad angle. Yeah, that's funny.
There's no bad angle. Still don't take it to me personally about that.
No, I'm not.
Kidding.
No, I think it's funny.
Kidding.
No,
he had to show me something.
How are you, Rance? What's going on, buddy?
Busy. Busy.
Doing what? What are you doing?
Playing golf.
Are you? What's up with golf? Who are you playing with?
I know. Did he play golf?
I have no idea. Who are you playing with?
No, he didn't play golf.
But you
he always
now.
wanted to.
Okay, who are you playing with?
That's funny. He's playing with Arthur Fonzarelli's dad. Remember the Fonz?
Oh, the actor that played it, the Fonz's dad? Okay. Well, maybe he was a golfer. It's possible. He would have known him very well.
Idea.
Well, I'm glad you have a
so
specific
funny.
person.
Yeah.
You guys play golf together?
It was Opie. Oh, he was Opie. Sorry, Ron.
His son was Opie.
Yeah.
So how many holes do you guys play typically?
One.
Is it? How long does the game last? Is it like just one hole? Or are you guys working?
24 hours.
Okay, so you guys are working. It's a long freaking game. You guys are really bad. You're duffers. Just kidding.
It's like around the world.
Okay,
it could be
very
like
good.
a galaxy.
All right,
That's
it sounds like
really
fun.
It's kind of nutty.
It's a little bit what Gary Shandling said. Because
I know, but I'm like, shut up, you guys. Really one? You guys, is it like a power thing? Like you play?
Well,
but
think
they
about
can't.
it.
They have to construct how to do it,
How
where
to
to
do
go,
it,
and
where
like,
to do it. Do you guys ever?
they end up like in barns in Kansas.
That's hilarious. So you just drive like does the ball drive further there?
Yes, but you have to be strong mentally to get it to go there.
To get the drive in.
Right.
So do people like get shank shots all the time?
Oh, interesting.
But
So you have to know like where to send it to, and if you don't have a recollection, you either have to study it and learn it in books, or you have to be somebody that's been to like Kansas or has been to
a golf course in Scotland.
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's so interesting.
So if you're going to drive it all the way to Scotland, you're really going to know where it is, like going to land.
Absolutely.
Very good. So how
You
much?
don't have to know where. Hold on.
I mean, is there a
It's like there's like a walkie-talkie that shows you like where it's gonna land. It's not like you have to figure it out.
do you guys keep score, or is it just
No need.
no need to keep score?
We play for money.
What's your handicap? And then remember we
Energy.
had
They play for money. It's energy.
energy. They play for energy. That's interesting.
And I just saw strippers, but that's not good.
Stripper?
There is no strippers there. That's the funny
Well, of
part.
course there would be if they wanted
Right,
to.
they showed me. They're trying to show me gambling, so they gamble
Oh,
like
okay.
Michael Jordan gambling.
Okay, gambling. Okay, great. All right, very funny. Wow, that's trippy.
They travel with it now.
All right, you guys blew my mind. Rance, that was really cool. I'm so glad to hear that, bro. You know, I got a sense that you didn't want to be in our book, but then later on,
Too early.
What? Too early. But now it's okay, right? All right, very
You're
good.
getting a thumbs up.
All right, very
Siskel
good.
Ebert.
Well, now it's okay. I didn't want to go through life thinking I had stepped on your toes there.
Don't
okay.
believe what comes through me. That's for sure.
Okay, what else? So, anybody else want to come forward now? Since we pushed Lincoln aside and
So funny.
George Washington, George, I asked you only who was there to greet you. Let me ask you this, George. So you owned slaves. When you went to the flip side, were any of those slaves there to greet you?
Yes.
So how did that feel, running into people that you realized you had owned them? Or it just didn't feel that way? It wasn't part of the construct?
Having a child makes you feel that way too.
I see.
So the
it's,
children think the same. It's the same energy as owning.
okay, it's unconditional love on some level.
Yes.
Because you had love for them.
Right. There's a couple of them though that he knows it.
Are you
because
friends
of
with
him.
Thomas Jefferson, by the way?
That asshole? Hold on.
Is he an asshole?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Why?
I was just thinking about Sally Hemings. That was his.
He makes fun of
had a
the
bunch
like
of
the
kids.
apple and makes fun of the and he's the one that gets that. You know, the pie. Hold on. Apple pie. Never mind. It's just a bad joke all
Okay.
around.
Wait, who's saying that? George?
No. Kennedy's son. That's so funny. All right, hold on.
So what's it like for you, John, to talk to Abe Lincoln and George Washington at
He
the same
just showed
time?
me his hair, like the hair, like it's very
Fake
similar.
hair, yeah,
it's
yeah.
very similar.
The wig?
Or well, I was being shown John Jr. with Abe Lincoln, and like their like dorkiness he's showing me.
Wow, that's pretty funny. So I mean, you guys hang out, obviously, but I mean,
Yeah,
so
it's the
what
same
would
frequency.
what would be an occasion that would bring you together?
Trump.
So would you sit around and talk about it?
No, they don't waste their time on it.
So
He's like a buffer. They just put him in where they don't have to do anything because he's just he terrorizes
just an
everything.
excuse, yeah.
Yeah, it's
people-
like an excuse to drink.
People talk about ghosts in the White House. You guys would be aware of them. Are you doing any of that, or is it somebody else?
It's them. The Secret Service can't keep them out.
All right. What kind of a thing would
They
you...
go in there to learn things, to warn people, to get because of what's going on.
What kind of pranks would you pull?
I kid you not, I saw the toilet paper on his shoe walking up to their first one.
That's fine. You guys pulled that off? All right, very good.
Oh, they're all like fighting each other.
I think Jenna Bush, which is W's daughter, was in the White House and heard piano music. Heard somebody playing piano late at night, when there was no piano. And she thought
That was somebody that Obama knew.
She was talking about how there were ghosts in the White House, and like people talk about music, and the staff talks about it all the time, who they see and what they. Well, I don't know. It's just interesting for people to figure that out. All right, so listen.
JFK's there a lot.
Anything you want us to tell anybody, JFK, John?
Not to give Trump that much power in our minds. Let it go.
Let it go.
I just told him to fuck off.
How about you, Abraham? Anything you want to give us?
Keep learning. And love who you are.
Abe, you were a fan of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Have you met him? Is there a Shakespeare dude? You met him. What's he like?
He's just showing me his mind, just projecting all the, even numbers and sequence and every word, how much it affects every dimension.
Yeah.
And how everyone has tried to replicate that, but it's a very beautiful.
Can we talk to him?
Yeah.
All right. So, Will, how about how old does he look, or appear, or feel, or seem?
It looks like he's in his 20s.
His 20s. Okay, very good. So, who was there to greet you when you crossed over, buddy?
I think we have 2 children. That's what
His?
it feels like. Yeah.
Okay.
Initially, I thought I heard his first wife. No idea what that means.
His first wife, I do know what it means. Have you had? Listen, people are going to ask you what. I know that your plays have been rewritten and changed and fixed, but you wrote the original plays, correct? So
someone helped him.
Someone helped him. Okay, while he was alive. Who helped him?
No, above him. Sorry.
Sorry?
He channeled it.
He channeled it. Okay, who were you channeling? Like your higher self or a guide? Or...
He showed me William Blake.
William Blake, okay. I think he was after.
I don't know.
But it could have been a higher version of Blake.
Right?
It's all right. Let's not judge it. So, Will, your favorite play?
I'm like, Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet? And he's like, I like love stories, tragic love stories. Whether it's with yourself, like he showed me Socrates, and then he showed me Romeo and Juliet. Like he showed me a bunch of different,
Julius Caesar.
Yes. I'm sorry, I probably said this. Yeah.
Macbeth, Othello, Measure for Measure.
It's by far Romeo and Juliet.
By
and then
far.
Hamlet.
All right, very good. Now let me ask you, what do you regret, if anything?
He says, I regret not loving who I was within it. I was tortured, which made it for good writing. I couldn't enjoy it. I got glimpses of enjoying it.
What do you miss about being on the planet?
Thank you. He says, I don't miss it. I love hearing about it. So you show him like the planet with all the people thinking about Shakespeare and singing and dancing
and doing this play.
That is the most enjoyable.
So can you show up at any play that's being performed that you wrote because the frequency is there?
Absolutely.
And do you do that often?
No, he's quite bored.
What?
I have to hear another.
Because it's boring. Who is what? Boring. And who is somebody that you appreciate their storytelling?
Beethoven.
Oh, Beethoven. Okay, so musically he told stories.
Yeah.
Pretty good, wasn't he? We talked to Ludwig. He's been in our class.
They're together. They hang out.
And we found out who the Immortal Beloved was. I forgot. We actually interviewed him about that. It was a guy. It was his teacher. It was an older man.
Shocker.
How about you, Will? So you were married. You had kids.
A couple of times.
And ultimately, have you reincarnated?
Many tentacles.
Okay, versions of you. Yeah, I think we only send a certain portion of our energy, so your higher thing is always there.
It could have been happening before.
Yeah. So, have you done any lifetimes where you've been an artist or a writer or do creativity? I mean, I would think it was something you couldn't escape.
Always.
Okay, very good.
He likes the frequency of that.
Are you here now?
With me, yeah.
No, I mean, is some part of you the tentacle on the planet now, incarnated now? No. Okay, very good. So is this unusual?
There's somebody in England.
Yeah. Tony
being born.
Oh,
yeah.
It's being
Stop
born.
it.
Will. Oh, okay. 1 second. Let's just get one last question.
I know we're talking about Shakespeare. You do this to me every fucking time, by the way.
So, Will, anything you want to tell us? What can we tell the planet that you had to say to us? What did you want to tell us?
Washington, University of Washington.
I have a friend.
Love indecently.
I like that. Very good. What does Robin Williams think of that one?
Well, he showed up at the same time, so I'm like, is it the name Will? Like, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Get out of my head. You can't do
Sorry,
this if you're in my
it's
head.
allowed. What does Robin say? Because I think Robin should narrate everything we're doing.
He's trying. It's just a lot. Love the love indecently.
Love the love indecently. Love indecently is good. Robin, I'm sorry, we can't improve.
Heard that.
We can't improve upon that one. That's come from Will Shakespeare. Love indecently. So, Will, thank you, brother. You're welcome to our class
it's never going to be
anytime.
correctly.
What?
Love indecently, not correctly.
Okay.
Like who you're supposed to love.
I understand.
Yeah. I don't.
Love indecently is good.
I'm sure it's
I think that implies not correctly. So, Luana, are you impressed that we have all these people that we can talk to? You're the person who brought them here.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
You asked him.
I did. Well, thanks everybody for showing up today. We had a
You're going to help me tonight on my radio show.
Okay, very good.
All right.
And if they can give me some lottery numbers, I'm kidding. We did not win the $1 billion. What are you going to do? And I played our lottery numbers, but they're laughing at us. Oh, lottery, win the lottery.
We won the lottery.
We
We're
won the
here.
lottery, exactly.
They're like, you don't win the
What do you
lottery.
want?
You already are the lottery.
You are the fucking lottery, man.
Okay, stop using the
Paxton.
Love indecently.
You are it's, what does he say in the Aliens? It's the something man. There's a movie poster with just his line from Aliens. Mm-hmm. I forget what it is. Something man. Okay, guys. We love
I'll see you tonight. You have a 5 o'clock appointment, Pacific Coast time, however that looks to you.
All right, very good.
Voices.
All right, and you guys have fun. Everybody relax. All right, cool. Catch you on the flip side. All right.
This has been Hacking the Afterlife podcast. For more information, JenniferSchaefer.com, RichMartini.com, or MartiniZone.com. To watch the film Hacking the Afterlife, go to Gaia.com via Amazon Prime.